about stoichiometry, calculations with chemical formulas and equation. For this day, we'll be discussing the uh, half of this topic, half of this chapter, and then we'll continue this topic next week, so that we can include this chapter sa atong midterm exam, which is scheduled next week also. I think for 18 and 19. So to start, natay gitawag na chemical equations. They are the concise representations of chemical reaction. So once you combine the hydrogen and then oxygen, it will result to water. So ang katong yahang formulas, once you show the formulas in equation of pamaagi, like the reactants and then the products with an arrow going to the right side, that is what we call chemical equation. So gina-represent niya kung saan nahitabo na reaction. Now, so sa chemical reaction or chemical equation, we have two parts, no? We have the reactants, which appears in the left side of your equation, and we have the product, which appears in the right side of the equation. So for this one, we have a reaction between methane or CH4 plus oxygen, gaseous form, plus will yield to carbon dioxide plus water. So naay makabantay mo, naay 2 before sa oxygen, and then you have 2 before sa water. Ang tawag sa ila ana is coefficients. Ngano coefficients man sila? They are inserted to balance the equation to follow the law of conservation of mass. So going sa katong theory about atoms, natay gitawag na law of conservation of mass. Pasabot ana kung unsay isulod nimo sa reaction, mao mo gawas dapat. So tulo ka moles or atoms imong gipasulod diri na elements diri, or tulo ka atoms imong gipasulod sa reactants, tulo ra gyapon mo gawas. So walay ma-add, walay ma-minus. So that's law of conservation of mass. We have also in the equation gitawag na states. So the states of the reactants and products are written sa parentheses to the right of each compound, kanang may G dira. So makita nato sa equation. So sa ilang pasabutan na, it's the state kung sa iyahang structure ay iyahang itsura or composition sa imuhang compound. So for example, aning sa atong reaction karon, we have, or chemical equation, we have G. So naa siya sa gaseous in form, gas. So we have also liquid, solid, and then aqueous. The difference sa liquid and aqueous. Aqueous is a combination siya, no, of different liquids. So aqueous solution. So while liquid is a pure liquid lang siya. So why do we add coefficients instead of changing subscript to balance? It's because malahi iyang itsura, no? Kung i-change na nimong coefficient, ang amount ang may tabo. So kung, for example, mag-add mo butang kag coefficient na 2, so meaning there are 2 molecules of water in that specific equation or reaction. Well, for example, kung himuon nimong subscript ang 2 instead na coefficient, ang may tabo isang identity na sa imuhang water. Kanindiri example ni ani kay water man. So may taboan na is ma-change ang iyahang identity sa imuhang compound. So from water, mahimo siyang peroxide. Example ani is when you combine hydrogen and oxygen, it can yield to water or hydrogen peroxide. So be careful, ibutang ang coefficient so say may tabo when you combine these specific elements. So yun. So karon example. We have the equation sodium in solid state plus water in liquid state will yield or will result to sodium hydroxide and aqueous solution plus hydrogen gas. Now, the problem is you need to balance this equation. Saan na siya pamaagi ana? So na ako'y duha ka pamaagi, no? First kay the mathemata or the engineering way. So I just need to check the left side, then i-balance na ko sa right side. While I have also this kaning pamaagi good scientific pamaagi, which is you need to tabulate sa ang left side nimo, which is the reactants, and then tabulate the product, and then check whether whether balance ba each element or component sa reactant na side to the product na side. So we have this one as your reactant and this one is your product. So sa reactant side, we have the sodium. Then we have also the hydrogen. And then other component will be oxygen. So that components of the reactants. So as per postulate last time, no, third postulate I think ni Dalton, kung unsay component nimo sa imong reactant, mora po'y component nimo sa imong product. Dili pasabot na nagpa-mix ka og sodium, hydrogen, and then oxygen, mag-yield din ka og mga sulfur, carbon. So same ra japon na compound, meaning to say, ay element, meaning to say, same ra japon na siya. You have the sodium, which is kani. We have the hydrogen, which is kani, duha. And then oxygen component, which is kani. Walay other component na nakasagol. Now, i-check na nato kung pila kabok ano no. First is natin coefficients. Pila coefficients per molecule. So, natin molecule of sodium, molecule of water, molecule of sodium hydroxide, and then molecule of hydrogen gas. Now, pila ka mo yung coefficients. Coefficient is the left side na number. Kung kayo makita na number there, that means it's 1. Same goes to this one, and this one, and this one. Now, we'll check the number of atoms present for each element or component. So, for sodium is, wala siya substituent, is kung rin no, kanang subscript, meaning to say 1 na siya. So, meaning 1 times 1, so that is 1. So, there is a 1 atom component lang na naa sa imuhang reactant. While hydrogen is, you have 2 in this part, times 1 na coefficient, you have 2 hydrogen. Then last is oxygen, that is 0 ay 1 times 1 na component, so you have 1. Same ratong buhaton sa ikas na side or the product. For sodium, dire, you have 1 times 1, so you have 1. For hydrogen is naatay 3, correct? You have
3.
1 in this part, 1 times 1, and then you have 2 times 1, so 2 plus 1 is 3. And then the oxygen is, you have pilaman? 1. So 1 times 1 lang na coefficient. Now, check dayon, bangga din nato ang reactant and product, kung balance pa siya. So, wa pa na balance ang hydrogen, no? So, diya ka na atong unahon og check. Ay atong i-balance nato. So, saan na nato na siya pag-balance? Is ko na din ta, kanang tandi-tandi or di bana-bana na din ta na ani na kuan. Kaya wala may formula gid ani, no? So, bana-bana na din ka. So, kani dire, you have 2. So, if you add, muna to ni siyang kuan dire, 2 ka water, 2 molecules of water. So, mag-change ang imuhang hydrogen and oxygen. So, si imong hydrogen nimo is mahimong 4. So ba? 2 times 2 na siya. Ma-change po imong oxygen. Ang oxygen nimo is 1 times 2. So, mahimo siyang 2. Ibangga nimo siya sa right side. May matanaman mo anong si left side imong giuna, sir, it's because pH nimo dire is 2 man iyahang kuan, iyahang iyahang atom. So mas lesser siya, so ang lesser na part imong hilabtan. So ibangga na to sa pikas. So si oxygen dire is nakay duha, dire is nakay isa, na isa ra may source nimo sa oxygen. So mo na to ni siyang 2. So pag change nimo anang 2 sa sodium hydroxide, na change ang tulo ka component. Gikan kay sodium, which is mahimo siyang 1 times 2, so that is 2. Now, for oxygen is you have 2 times 1, that is 2. And then for hydrogen, may himo siyang pila man. Pila na bilin sa pila mahimo ang hydrogen din. 4, correct. So you have 2 times 1 plus 1 times 2. So that is 4. So bangga na po rin na to sa left side. So that is 2, 4, 2 dire. And you have dire is 1, 4, 2. So di pa siya balance, no? You need 2 atoms of sodium sa imong reactant. So, just input this 2 coefficient sa imong sodium. So, may mo ni siya 2. Meaning to say, ang balance na reaction ani is 2 Na plus H2O na 2 plus 2 yield 2 molecules of your sodium hydroxide plus your hydrogen gas. So that's the balance equation or balance chemical reaction for this specific reaction. Number 1 is we have the reaction between your iron, which is Fe, plus oxygen, O2, yields to Fe2O3 or ferric oxide. The reactant plus your oxygen will yield to your Fe2O3. Now, either katura pwede nimo gamiton ang katong ihanay ang left side and right side or bana na ka. So atong buhatan is katong ihanay sa ano. So dire component sa imong left side is iron and then oxygen. Same goes to your product, iron sa kung kadiri oxygen. Now hanay na to kung pila ka book atoms per side no. For the reactant side imong iron is 1 times 1, that is 1 atom of iron. For oxygen is 2 times 1, that is 2 atoms of oxygen. For your product na side, you have 2 times 1, you have 2. And then oxygen is 3 times 1, that is 3. Now check na yung bangga na yung reactants of products, you have imbalance ka no, wala pa na balance mo iron o oxygen. Now, imuhang unang i-balance ani is kaning left side. It's because dili ra siya ay dili siya maka-affect sa another component kung imo siyang tandugon. Kay kung diri ka mag-focus, once imo nimo butang ko coefficient diri, tandog ang imuhang another component. So kani imuhang iron and then oxygen imuhang tandugon. So for combustion reaction dali ka kay ni siya kay single component sa kanaka oxygen. So pila ka atom diri, you have 2. So meaning to say imo ibutang diri is 2. So meaning nahitabo diri sa imong reactant na imo na siyang duha ka iron. Ang product na ganun nahitabo wala ko makigilabtan sa imong product pa. So pila akong i-multiply. So ang wala na nabalan diri si oxygen. So again, ang first thing may prioritize na i-balance is ang gamay na side. So si reactant. So pila man imong i-multiply diri para mabalance siya diri sa atom sa pikas. 3 halves, correct? So that's correct, no? So when you multiply 2 sa 3 halves, makancel na mo ang 2, mabilin is 3. So, but in this case, in chemistry, we don't have butal na coefficient or butal na atoms. You don't say na I need 3 halves of oxygen. So dapat whole number siya. What you need to do in this time yun is, i-whole number ni siya. So kaning 2, i-distribute na nato sa tanang components. Diri kay reactant, kay iron, and then diri sa iyang product. So may tabo na din ani. Component coefficient niya is 2 times 2, that will become 4 iron. Plus, so i-multiply nimo ang 2 na po diri sa 2, ay 2 times 1 half, kay imo man i-distribute, so mabilin diri sa pikas is 3 na lang, sa O2. And then, may tabo diri sa pikas is 2 times coefficient 3 na 1, so may mo siyang 2 ferric oxide, Fe2O3. Now, ato i-check kung sakto ba ang natabo sa atong ipangbuhat. So, pila ang iron sa pikas sa reactant? You have 4 na. Pagabot sa product, pila man ang iron? You have 2 times 2. So, you have 4. Equal na si iron. Si oxygen, you have 3 times 2, that is 6. Multiply sa right side, and you have 3 times 2, that is 6. Meaning, balance na imong reactant and imong product. Yes? So, the balance reaction or equation for this one is you have 4, 3, and then 2. 4 iron, 3 oxygen, and then 2 molecules of your ferric oxide. The third B is a hydrocarbon and also undergoing the combustion process or combustion reaction. So C2, 2 carbon hydrocarbon is kung balik ka, that is anak kong meth, penta, hexa, hepta, octa, nona, eta. So we have methane, ethane, propane, butane, pentane, hexane, heptane, octane, nonane, decane. So that's for hydrocarbon. So for this one, meaning to say, methane has 1 carbon, ethane is 2. You have 3 here, 4 down to 10 for decane. Meaning to say, kaning C2H4, ang tawag sa yaana is ethane. So ethane, combusted siya. So undergo sa combustion process, ang always niya na result ana when you undergo sa combustion na hydrocarbon imong gamit is carbon dioxide and then water. So CO2 gina sa permi and then water. Basta nag-undergo sa combustion niya, imong partner is hydrocarbon. Meaning ga contain siya og C og H. So kani siya i-balance. C2H4 or ethane plus your oxygen will yield to your CO2 plus water. Now, kapoy makito atong kanaba ko atong the process of an eye left and eye right. So itong buhaton karon is the mathematics, the engineering way. So now, atong i-balance ato, pila ka carbon na nasa left side? You have pila ka atom ng carbon? 2. So meaning to say, coefficient diri sa imong carbon dioxide, which is siya ang naka-contain ng carbon, is pila ka multiply diri? Ergutang 2. Very good. So balance sa imong carbon na, you have 2 sa left side, 2 sa carbon, 2 sa imong product. Now, i-less prior nato ni siya kay siya man ang loner no, wala kauban. So atong other component ang atong nilabtan sa first, which is ang hydrogen. Sa left side yung hydrogen is you have 4. Sa right side is pila yung hydrogen? You have 2. So pila ka multiply para may mo siyang 4? 2. So sa coefficient na 2. You need to see 2 times 2 here is may mo siyang 4 atoms of your H. So same na siya ani. 4 times 1, that is 4H. So balance na imong carbon, balance na imong H. Sakto ba? Balance na? Now, ang imong i-balance na gid again karon is your oxygen. Now, for this side, your reactant, imuhang oxygen is you have 2 times 1, so that is 2. In your product na side, you have 2 times 2, you have 4. Plus, napadi kay oxygen diri, you have 1 times 2, that's 2. So, equal to 6. Ato ba? 4 plus 2 is 6. So, meaning to say, kay si reactant man ang gamay no, mas gamay, so 2. So, pila kay multiply dira para mahimo siyang equal aning kay product?
3.
3. So, coefficient mo diri is 3. So, undang na rin, stop na rin ta. It's because whole number man sa wala na siya ng fraction. So, meaning to say, your balance equation for this reaction is 1 molecule of C2H4, 3 molecules of your O2 will yield 2 molecules of carbon dioxide and 2 molecules of your water. Sir, pwede ba walay 1 yung C2H4? Yes, pwede na siya, wala na siya, as is na siya na 1, so walay number. Between aluminum and then hydrochloric acid that yields aluminum chloride plus hydrogen gas. Now, you have aluminum plus hydrochloric acid will yield to aluminum chloride, Cl3, and then hydrogen gas. So, same sa itong button, bana na sa itong tanong. So, first ako nakita is hydrogen. Wala na balance. So, mas gamay mo ni dire. So, ang button is muna ko siya dire og 2. So, balance na ba sa hydrogen? That is 1 times 2. So, you have 2H dire. Dire sa pikas is you have 2 times 1. So, you have also 2H na. But, na-balance imong H, pero natandog imong chlorine. Now, imong chlorine is 2 times 1. You have 2 chlorine atoms in your reactant na side. While in your product, you have 3 times 1. So, you have 3 chlorine atoms. So, sa may buhaton na to, anak? I-multiply na to siya o
3 halves.
isa itong tandugon. Tandugon na to ni si chlorine or si aluminum. Isa itong tandugon. Itong buhaton na rin is, sa may common factor nila, ani? So, pila ko i-multiply aning 3 para may mo siyang 6. You have 2. So, may mo na siyang 6 ka chlorine diri. Now, for this one is, imo na to siyang 6 ka. Change na to na po diri, 6 ka chlorine. Sakto, di ba? So, para may mo na siyang 6 ka chlorine. But, natandog na po itong hydrogen. So, you have 6H na diri. So, atong button is, imo na to siyang 3 ka H diri. So, may mo siya, 3 times 2 is 6H. Pag change na to diri kanina, natandog na po sa aluminum. So, pila ko i-multiply sa aluminum?
2.
2. So, you have 2 aluminum. So, balance na ba? So, ito na to, aluminum. 2Al sa imong reactant. Pagkabot sa imong product is you have 2. 1 times 2. So, balance yung aluminum. Hydrogen mo is you have 1 times 6. You have 6. Dito sa pikas is you have 2 times 3. That is 6. Balance yung H. Imong chlorine is you have 1 times 6. You have 6 chlorine. So, dito din sa imong product, you have 3 times 2. You have 6 chlorine atoms. So, balance na siya. Meaning to say, ang balance reaction ani sa equation is 2 aluminum, 6 hydrochloric acid, and then will yield to 2 aluminum chloride, and then 3 hydrogen gas. It will be about 3 types of reaction. So, reaction ay different types of reaction. No? So, diri, kani siya is ma-distinguish ni siya according to kung sa'yo kakatabo during the reaction. So, first one is you have the combination reaction. From the name itself, combine. So, ang may tabo lang is ang duha ka substance is directly ma-combine na siya with each other, meaning mura siyang mag-minyo. Like, na ay lalaki, ni babae, magpakasal, so kasuwan na din sila. So, say for example, you have magnesium in solid form or solid state combined with an oxygen gas, o may tabo sa yaan na may mo siyang magnesium oxide. Masolid siya, masolidify siya. And then you have also N2 gas plus hydrogen gas will yield to NH3. And then you have C3H6 plus Br2. I-connect lang ang duwa. So you have C3H6, Br2. That's combination reaction. You have also decomposition reaction. So for decomposition reaction, one substance breaks down into 2 or more substances. So balik siya dito sa pikas, no? So kung ganina kay gikan sa duha ka substance or duha ka elements or duha ka compound, i-combine siya, hindi mo siyang isa. Dire is nabalik. Naka-isa ka compound, bubuwag siya into 2 using heat or any process. So say for example, calcium carbonate. So nani sa calcium carbonate. So nami duha ka klase na calcium carbonate. You have this one and then you have this one. Kaning coffee colored, and then you have the white. So mas pure ni siya, no? 95% pure ni siya na calcium carbonate. Kani kay lesser yung purity. So ang calcium carbonate, kung when you induce it with heat, to ma-dissociate siya or ma-decompose siya to two substances na, you have calcium oxide in solid form, and then you have margilis o gaseous component, you have the carbon dioxide. So for KClO3 or potassium chlorate, kung imong na siyang ipa-decompose, ang may tabuan na is ma-form sa 2 potassium chloride, and then you have oxygen gas. And then the third equation or the third reaction, mo na siyang nakitabo when you mabangga mo sa inyong car, sa For example, sa another sakyanan or sa kahoy. So, mabangga yung sakyanan na mo gawas dira na airbag. So, ang airbag is ga-contain siya og kanang compound nga gitawag nato sodium azide. So, ang reaction na kakitabuan na is ga-decompose ang imong sodium azide to sodium and then nitrogen gas during the reaction. Kay na ano man siya tungod sa pressure na i-trigger niya ang decomposition reaction ni sodium azide. So, that's it. And then you have the last one is the combustion reaction. Atong giingon na reaction between the hydrocarbon, which is the example is CH4 methane and then C3H8, so 3 carbon component. So you have MEP, so MEP, so you have propane. So propane and then methane are hydrocarbon, they are alkane. So when you combine it with oxygen, they undergo the process of combustion reaction, which yield to carbon dioxide and then the water. So write a balanced reaction on the combination reaction between lithium metal and the fluorine gas. Now lithium is metal, so that is solid in form. Metal. And then there is this one element, metallic yung nature, pero yung form or yung existence is liquid siya in form. So that's mercury. Later magpanato na siya. No? Lithium in solid or metal. And then yung fluorine gas, say formula ni fluorine gas. Fluorine gas. Say formula. Fluorine, 2. So kung fluorine lang, that's F. But this time is fluorine gas man siya. So meaning ihang state is na siya sa gaseous form. So the atomic ihang nature. So F2 na siya. Di na siya F. So ihang state is gaseous. Now, mo yield siya to, unsa man, combination man ihang reaction. So combine lang siya. Li and then you have F. Lithium fluoride. Now, sir, ano mag lithium fluoride man sa sir naman hinduwa diri. So again, atong balik tagid last time no, ang ions kay mo combine siya base sa ihang or ma-exchange lang siya base sa ihang ito ganito, charge. So si lithium is naman siya sa group 1. So yung charge ana is +1. So +1 ihang ma-share dito kay lithium fluorine. 1. Si fluorine dayon is nasa sa group 7. That is yung charge is -1. So ihang ma-share dito kay lithium is -1 or 1. So meaning to say, 1 na ihang mga substituent or subscript anang duha. Lithium 1 and then fluorine 1. So dili mag-vary ni siyang 2 diri na ihang kuno. So balance naman siya, dili pa. Isa first na relaptan. Right side. So pila kay butang diri?
2.
Correct. So balance imuhang fluorine una. Now, gi-change man imong fluorine so na ilabtan imong lithium. So pila kang buhaton sa lithium sa left side?
Multiply by 2.
Multiply by 2. Correct. So this is 2 times 1. So you have 2 lithium atoms in your left side, which is equal to the 2 lithium atoms imong product. And then your fluorine is 2 diri sa left side, 2 po diri sa right side. So that's the balance chemical equation, balance equation for this reaction. Duha ka lithium atom plus isa ka molecule of your fluorine gas will yield to 2 molecules of your lithium fluoride. So letter B. Letter B is the decomposition reaction that occurs when solid barium carbonate is heated. 2 products form a solid and a gas. So taga nang hint no sa mga ma-form. So first is the barium carbonate. Barium is say component of barium gani element. Chemical symbol barium. You have
BA.
Kung BR dayon sa BR.
Bromine.
Bromine.
So barium, correct atong bromine. Kung kuan siya i-undergo siya process or reaction may siyang bromide. So bromine siya. So ang carbonate is ang carbonate
C2.
CO3. That's carbonate. So barium carbonate plus decomposition man siya. So dito siya arrow. Ma-decompose siya to a solid. So kuan siya solid na siya no, yung state. Duha din iyang product which is a solid and then a gas. Now, for decomposition reaction, totally magbuwag lagi ang iyang component sa barium carbonate into 2. So first ni ana is naa kay barium diri. Ang barium mukuha siya partner diri kay carbonate. Iyang best na ma-partner ana is another non-metal which is oxygen. So si barium oxide na siya. Now, ang naitabo din sa pikas, gibiyaan naman si carbonate dayon sa isa ka oxygen. So naitabo sa mo siyang CO CO2. So that's carbon dioxide. Kaya gaseous man siya in form. Ang barium oxide is solid in form. Now, kung if you check the equation, balance na siya. It's because most of the decomposition reaction or decomposition ng metabo is balanced na, except for those elements na gaseous in nature, elemental, katong diatomic. So H2, you have the O2, mga product. So possible dito sa balance. So for this one, most of the decomposition reaction balance na sa barium diri, isa diri sa pikas. Your carbon isa diri, you have isa po diri. For oxygen is you have 3, you have 1 plus 2, so you have 3. Balance na. So methanol nimo is CH3OH. That's methanol. Plus burn in air man siya, so oxygen. undergoes a combustion. So ang product niya for combustion is always CO2 and then water. Now, the engineering way, pamaagi is check the bana-bana way na ta. So you have pila hydrogen dire. You have one carbon dire sa left side, sa pikas is you have one carbon. So balance. Next one is you have the hydrogen. So last priority is oxygen na to. Hydrogen dire is you have 3 plus 1. So 4. Meaning to say you need to multiply 2 here. So 2 times 2 para mabalance ang 4 ka H. You have 4H here. So balance imong C and then your H, ang mabili na lang is your oxygen. In this part, you have 2 plus 1. So you have 3 oxygen in the left side and then in the right side, you have 2. 0 times 1 times 2, you have also 2. So you have 4 oxygen sa tikas na side. So meaning to say, you need to create a 4 atom dire sa imong reactant para ma-balance dire sa 4 atoms nimo sa product. So you multiply nimo ang ilan man imong multiply. So 3 halves.
3/2, sir.
Okay. Cancel ang 2. So, mabilin dari is, you have 3 oxygen. Plus your 1. So, you have 4 oxygen. That is balance na sa imong oxygen sa tikas na side. Now, again, ayaw ka tagit answer na 3 halves. You need to distribute the 2. Kaya walay butal nga atom or molecule. So, ang imong balance na reaction ani is 2. That is 2 times 1. So, 2 ka methanol. Mabilin din mo sa oxygen is you have 3 oxygen. Will yield to 2 times 1. That is 2 carbon dioxide plus 2 times 2. So you have 4 ka water. So that's the balance reaction. You have formula weights. Formula weights are the sums atomic weights sa each element present sa chemical formula. So atomic mass is the mass of an atom in an atomic mass unit. So AMU. Tapos by definition, kung unsa iyahang kana nasa taas or subscript ay superscript mo na siya yung atomic mass for specific element. So for example, 12C to meaning 12 AMU or atomic mass unit ang present sa carbon per atom. So hydrogen you have 1, so 1.008 to be exact yung AMU or atomic mass unit. And for oxygen you have 16 AMU. So kung sa'yo makita ninyo dira na mass sa periodic table, that's the AMU for each element. So yun. So say for example you have the calcium fluoride. Calcium fluoride is, kung ano yung formula weight niya, you have 1 atom of your calcium times ang atomic mass sa calcium is around 40. So that is 4 AMU. For chlorine is you have 2 atoms of chlorine times ang iyahang atomic mass niya is the periodic table is around 35.45. So meaning 35.45 times 2, that is 70.90. Meaning to say the formula weight of calcium chloride is around 110.90 AMU. That's the atomic mass unit or the formula weight of this specific compound. So you have also molecular compound. Molecular weight is the sum of the atomic weights of the atoms in the molecule. So for the molecule of ethane or C2H6, the molecular weight should be 2 times the number of atomic mass of C, which is 12.01, plus H, that is 1.008, times 6 atoms of your hydrogen. Isang din mo na. So meaning, iyahang molecular weight is 30.070 AMU. Meaning to say, if this is the molecular weight of ethane, molecular weight is the same with formula weight. So same na lang siya. Calculate the formula weight of sucrose. Sucrose is C12H22O11. So the formula weight of sucrose would be number of atoms of carbon, that is 12, times atomic mass of carbon, that is 12.01. So that is 144.12. Sakto ba? 12.40. Dili, joke. 144.12. Ilan man? Pag-deliver nila.
144.12.
Okay, sige. Sorry lang ngayon. Kung nagsalit sa myself. 144.12. So for H is you have 22 atoms of your H times 1.008. So that is around 22.176. And lastly is you have oxygen, 11 times. For oxygen, atomic mass niya is 16. So again, please do memorize the basic atomic masses of katong pinakagamit nato ng mga elements. You have carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. We have sodium also, you have calcium, kana mga pinagamit pero katong mga di tayo gamit na mga ginahatag nato during sa problem. So 16 times 11, you have 176. Meaning, the sum of this one, 176 plus 22.176 plus 144.12, that is the, tanaw na lang po kung kuan, sakto ba ang pagka-add na ko. 22.176 plus 176. 342.296. Meaning to say the formula weight for sucrose is around 342.296 AMU or grams per mole. Grams of sucrose over mole of sucrose. So either of the two unit inyong gamiton. Calcium nitrate is Ca, that's NO3, 2. So you have one atom of calcium times 40, so that is 40 EMU. For nitrogen is 14 man ata nitrogen. 14. 14 times pila ka multiply na atom. Pila ka buk atom of nitrogen present?
6.
Ano 6 man?
Ay, 2 na din.
Okay, 2. So that's 2 times 14, that is around 28 EMU. Tapos si oxygen, pila ka buk oxygen nato? Ay, hindi po buo. Oxygen nato is pila ka atoms? That's 16.
6.
6. So meaning 2 times 3 dira. So that's 6. Katong ganina is 2 times 1. So that's 2 for nitrogen, 6 for oxygen. So 6 times 6 is around 6396. Tama ba? Plus 28 plus 40. Meaning to say, the formula weight for calcium nitrate is around 164 EMU. We have the formula weight of aluminum hydroxide. And then CH3OH is a carbon, so methanol. Isa naman kasi. So CH3OH, that's methanol. So you have aluminum hydroxide, AlOH3. So aluminum is around, ilang aluminum? 18? Joke. 18 ba aluminum? 17.
26.98.
26.98
98.
times isa ka atom of aluminum, so times 1. So that is around 26.98 also. Now you have oxygen component, pila? 16 times pila ka atoms of oxygen for aluminum hydroxide?
3.
So 3 times 1, so 3. So 16 times 3, that is 48. Now your hydrogen is, you have 1.008 times pila ka atoms of hydrogen?
3.
So 3, correct. So you have 3.024. The formula weight for aluminum hydroxide is 3.024 plus 48 plus 26.98. So that is around 78.004. So sir, anong mo gina-round off for molecular weights? You need to have the longest aderino, mas accurate sa ang imong calculation if you have more decimal places. So dito na mo follow ang significant figure na ruling sa end na calculation. So kung pila ang given na mass, for example, 20.05 grams of your sample, so meaning nakay 4 significant figures, so katong i-follow. So for this one, during the calculation, you need to have more decimal places to have more or accurate na result. It is 12.01 times 1. For hydrogen, you have 1.008 times pila hydrogen, you have 3, 4, 1, so that's 4. So that's 4.0032. And then you have hydrogen na 1, so 16 times 1. So that is 16. So 48 point something, 16 plus 4.0032 plus 12. You have pila? 16 plus 12.01 plus 4.0032. That's 32.0132 EMU or grams of methanol per mole of methanol. So gets